Hey guys, it's Bosley Bolton, I'm founder here at Nosu. And as a real estate agent, you're probably always wondering what is the best real estate marketing idea, right? There's all these different ones I could do, but at the end of the day, right, we need to generate listings, we need to generate agreements, we need to make some money, right? So I wanted to create this video for you and really go through what are the best real estate ideas right now and what are the worst. Now, the first bad idea that's extremely popular right now is using Canva for image creation. So often I see real estate agents using Canva, right? They can make these graphic designy posts. And then there's like a big text there, and then there's some sort of picture, and then like brokerage information, right? And hey, I get it why a lot of realtors are doing this, right? Obviously, back in the day, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that was really what was taught in universities. And actually, in my university as well, they taught us to create those kind of like posts. But the fact is, like those types of posts do really work well, obviously, in things like physical newspapers, like these sorts of things. But when you think about social media itself, this is not necessarily a advertising platform or like a marketing platform, so to say, where we spend some money and we put out an ad to a newspaper, but rather it's a social media, right? So the goal is to share something with people that are going to see from you, right? Connect with it and then consume it. So you can just ask yourself the question of like, hey, what if you see some sort of marketing piece and you see 10 miles away, hey, this is a marketing piece, somebody's trying to market me something, right? If you see something like that, how do you typically respond? Well, the thing is, you actually don't respond, right? Because you have banner blindness. You don't even notice that you see those things. You don't even register those, right? So it's a very similar thing. I get why people are using Canva, but if you are one of those people right now and you're getting no results, you're getting no views, no like really listing leads coming in, nothing like that, just stop doing so, stop using it, and replace it with something else. I'm going to go over what to replace next soon. Now, another one that very, very similarly works is automated or pre-templated social media posts. Now, for reference, we run a company that has helped hundreds of real estate agents, ranging from top 10 to mid-sized teams to new agents likes to get listings. And I've never seen any kind of automated tool or any kind of pre-templated social media tool that somebody has had and has generated at least even 5 listings a year, right? So that tells you something. And we've talked to thousands of real estate agents, thousands and thousands and thousands. The last 7 years, we're doing roughly 2, 3, 4, 500 calls per month, analyzing social media accounts with real estate agents. And that's 7 years of experience. I've never seen anybody get listings with automated or pre-templated social media posts. So if you are using something from a brokerage or if you're paying some sort of tool, just stop doing that right now. And again, you'll just save yourself money and save your social media accounts. Now, third one is brokerage or CRM provided email newsletters. So again, if you are somebody that is using that pre-templated content on social media, you're also doing it on your drip campaigns. Very similar thing if you're sending a lot of market updates or these kind of things that are automated. And if you're not getting results from it, again, reason why is because of that banner blindness. So same thing with email, right? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, sure, you could have had an automated kind of like a template. Maybe it did work because of just lack of competition, right? There wasn't available good content. People hadn't seen it yet. But nowadays, people just see anything that's automated, like templated, like they see 10,000 miles away, right? So if you're using that and you're not getting results, stop using it. And again, replace it with something else, replace it with personal content. I'll go through that here in a second. Otherwise, if you're using this, you're just going to ruin your email list. And again, basically ruin your database. So make sure you don't have the same things happening over here as well. Now, fourth one that I've seen is buying leads. And again, the purpose here is obviously good for a lot of real estate agents, right? They're like, hey, I want to expand outside of my sphere of influence. Let's invest some money into lead gen, right? They buy tools like Zinc leads or Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads. And to be honest, I mean, some of these tools, they do work to an extent. So we have a lot of realtors I talk to, like they make $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year. And again, 50% of that is buying leads from Zillow or something like that. The downside of buying leads oftentimes is just the net margin. So when I look at Zillow realtors on paper, I see that they're making $200,000 per year. But when we actually chunk down the numbers, what we typically find is that their profit margins are like very, very small. So if they make 200,000, actually what they get net after that, it's like more like 80 or 60,000, right? So buying leads itself, okay, if you really find something and you track it, you see that it's producing you 5x ROI, or 10x ROI, sure, keep going with it, right? Why not, right? You're getting leads, you're doing business, but for most people, they're not, right? That's why Zillow and tools like this, they take you 40%. Zillow Flex program takes 40% of your commissions. I mean, as a real estate agent, that point, right? How much do you have left over after you pay your brokerage, right? All these other expenses to market the property, right? Again, there's not that much. The other problem with buying leads is that you can actually run your own lead generation platforms on social media. You can create your own ad campaigns, you can run ads to it, right? And if you do that, typically the margins are a lot better. Usually for a lot of our clients, they see 5x return, 10x return. But on top of that, to the short term, right? Let's think about long term. If you're buying leads, you're relying on some sort of platform, right? And then if you're running your own campaigns, you're building your brand. So even the fact that if it's the same exact profit margin, it makes much more sense to run your own ads because the people will see your video, they'll see your talk, you'll build your own database that you can then retarget ads to, right? All these things. So now, if you think about those two realtors for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, who is going to win the market share over the long term, right? The people that see over and over and over again on their social media, or the person that just hit it. They never see that realtor, right? They just get the lead somewhere and try to call them, right? So if you think about that process over the long term, it makes much more sense to build your own platforms as opposed to, again, buy leads. Again, not saying that there's not any place in the world where buying leads doesn't work, but in most cases, this is exactly what's going on. Now, number 5 is ChatGPT for content. And I get it. Okay, it's AI, right? AI is here. It can write your content, right? Saves you time, all of that stuff. But hey, if you see a content piece and it's AI, right? Nowadays, it's not like you're some sort of wizard. You're magically creating this piece of content. Everybody thinks it's you. Everybody sees ChatGPT content from 10 miles away. And if you're doing that, again, people are just going to skip the content, but at worst, it will create a lack of trust. And trust is the foundation for real estate transaction, right? If we don't have trust, we don't have anything. Doesn't matter if you buy the lead. Again, if there's no trust, right, that's not going to happen. So if you're using ChatGPT, make sure you're using it in the right way. I have a few videos up on my channel over here. You can check it out as far as how to use the ChatGPT the right way. But just make sure it doesn't sound like weird, because often I see people use ChatGPT, they put a, hey, write me a post, and it's like weird content. It looks odd. It's almost like, what is going on over here, right? So make sure you're not that person that's like, almost it's called nowadays the cringe realtor. Don't be that cringe realtor that's like try hard, like to use ChatGPT, try to appear as somebody else, which like just inauthentic, right? So make sure, again, ChatGPT, using it wisely. You definitely use it, right? But use it for, again, idea creation, use it for writing your scripts a little bit better, right? Again, those types of things definitely good to use, but make sure you're using it the right way, structured way. Now, you may be wondering at this point, okay, well, these are some of the things that don't work, right? So maybe you heard yourself that, okay, I'm not doing this and do this, right? So what should I do to generate business? What should I do to actually get those new clients? And what is the right response, so to say? Right. Well, at the end of the day, the best thing you can do with your real estate marketing is to get people to feel like they know you, relate to you, and trust you as a human being, to see you as a number one choice for a real estate agent, right? Because most of the real estate transactions, they go based on referrals. Even when we look at stats from NAR, over 33% of transactions go based on referrals. So that tells you trust, relatability, knowability, right? These are super, super key. Now, a second thing you should be doing is differentiating yourself. So obviously realizing that you're just one of the realtors from thousands of realtors probably in your marketplace, and you have to do something different. So most people are doing these things that we just covered. So you have to do something different yourself if you want to stand out in today's marketplace, if you want to be different. And the thing is, at the end of the day, everybody realizes this, but doesn't really understand the urgency of this. So but I want to highlight here that you have to have a brand nowadays, especially with things like ChatGPT coming in, right? We have AI going on right now. We have all types of different discount brokerages, right? So if you don't have a brand as a real estate agent, you're going to have a very, very, very hard time competing. That's just a brutal fact. And you have to start building your personal brand. If you don't build a personal brand, again, why should somebody select your service, right? What is the whole point of selecting you outside of their sphere of influence? They don't know who you are. Why should they select you, right? You have to build a brand so people want to buy your service as opposed to the AI, as opposed to the discount broker, right? There's just too many options nowadays. You have to be able to do that. Now, third thing is allow you yourself to get listings outside of your sphere. And as funny as it sounds, most people, they just don't allow themselves to get listings. They say to themselves that, hey, I don't have the time. I don't have the skills. I don't have this and this and that, right? At the end of the day, right, if you want to grow your business, you have to allow it to happen, right? And for you to allow it to happen, you have to start putting in time to social media. You have to start putting in time to learning these skills, invest into a coach, invest into help, right? And you have to start doing this without cold prospecting because let's be honest, nowadays, the way the market works, again, you can do cold prospecting, but it's a lot better idea to build systems, build digital presence, build a personal brand, right? That's what's going to really allow it to scale. Now, allow yourself to do that, right? Don't hold yourself back. Don't say to yourself that, hey, I'll just stick through it, right? I'll just make sure, just do it and allow yourself to do so. Now, fourth thing is low competition. So that is the best idea. Now, what I mean by low competition is find places where a lot of your local real estate agents are not leveraging. I was just talking to this real estate agent and they were wondering, okay, which platform should I go for? And we actually looked at their market and we found out that actually in their YouTube platform was a very small market. There was no videos. There was nothing literally on YouTube. So that's a great place. Allow yourself, right, to grab that market share, create some videos, make sure obviously invest in the skills. You know how to do that, right? But allow yourself to grab that market share, get the traffic you come, right? But if you have a market where there's like 1,000 realtors already doing YouTube videos, right? There's all these keywords already topped up. Ask yourself, okay, could it be that there's an easier strategy? Could I use Facebook groups? Could I use TikTok? Could I use Instagram, right? Is there something where there's low competition? Now, I want to highlight here that you can also select strategies that have a high competition. Just expect that then your skills, they need to be better than the others, right? The videos need to be really, really good and they need to be much better compared to other people. So just a question of how well are you doing it? But from most people, it's just better to go for a strategy that's low competition, right? So you can just crush the competition right away and get the market share for yourself. Now, with that being said, the best strategy right now is to get sellers sold on you before you even speak with them based on your online content because it's agent driven, it's personality driven, it's relationship driven, right? And it's scalable. It's something that allows you to scale something that is already working, relationships, right? Just scale it online. And you want to lead with value and you want to lead with content that doesn't look like marketing. You want to capitalize on this trend, right? Where again, this is a current trend in the marketplace where consumers, they're selecting people that have a parasocial relationship with them. And what I mean by that is that people like to select brands, they like to select products that they're familiar with, right? And they like to select brands often based on a personal brand, right? People make value judgments based on different personal brands. You're probably aware of this. Right now, there's people, example, like Elon Musk, right? Very polarizing figure. You saw the way it worked out, right? Some people love him, some people hate him. Same exact thing happens in real estate. People want to know who you are so they can select the right person for them, right? And then if you don't have any kind of personal brand, what happens is that people just, they don't see you. You're invisible, right? So you have to put yourself out there. You have to be able to communicate who you are, and that's going to attract the right people to come directly to your business. So let's go over a couple practical things you can implement right now today in order to grow your business. Number one is Facebook posts with you in the post. So that builds real connection, that builds real trust. That is the lowest hanging fruit because you already have a Facebook profile. Most likely you have your sphere, you have your past database, right? So when you put out a Facebook post, it's you in the post that builds trust, that builds relatability, that keeps you top of mind. Number two is handwritten email broadcasts to your database. So right now, if you have a lot of automated posts, you've been kind of using automated market updates, right? This is a low-hanging fruit. So handwrite a email broadcast and send it to your database. Easiest way to think about it is like a handwritten postcard back in the day, right? Now you can just use it online. Number three is focus on one content format. Start creating content. Could be Reels, YouTube long form, Facebook posts, ads. Get some help. Don't try to do this without any coaching or anything like that. Just gonna take too much time. You'll spend like 2 years, 3 years figuring it out. Honestly, best way to do it is invest into a coach, invest into help. That way you can figure this out quickly, start doing it well. Now, it could be our company, it could be any other company, but make sure you get some coaching on that. Number four is YouTube ads for listing client acquisition. Really good idea if you have money, spend money on ads. Make sure you do that if you have the money and switch over from buying leads into running ads. Much better. Number five is DMing people. So if you're somebody where, again, maybe right now you have a database, maybe you have your past clients, right? DM people, DM past clients, DM leads, right? Get referrals, get the business flowing, right? And then once you're at that point where you get a few transactions through referrals, if you're somebody that doesn't have the money, you can spend some money on ads once you close one or two deals that way.